Hello and welcome. I am Lian Buan and this is Rappler Talk. With us here today is Dean Chel Jokno, the chairperson of the Free Legal Assistance Group or FLAG, one of the petitioners at the ongoing oral arguments at the Supreme Court. They want to declare unconstitutional the police circular and the circular of the DILG that operationalized Oplan Tokhang and the other anti-drug campaign of the government. Sir, good day po. Thank you for giving us this interview. Sir, first of all, yesterday, President Rodrigo Duterte announced that he would bring back the police, the PNP, into the war on drugs. How does this change the petition, or how does this affect the petition, considering that the defense of the Office of the Solicitor General is that the petitions are moot because the PNP has been taken out?
Well, I don't think that the Solicitor General can proceed with that argument anymore with the statements made by the President. Besides, if you look at the memorandum that the President issued last October, it can be taken back anytime. And that's precisely why we feel that the petition should really be reviewed on the merits of the case.
Sir, were you surprised when he announced this, that he will bring back the PNP?
Not really, because there were already several insinuations before that he would return the war on drugs to the PNP. I think he had recently said that if the PIDEA doesn't work, then he'll bring it back. So.
Sir, was there a time you were worried that the taking out of the PNP was really going to affect your petition? Because remember, sir, when you filed it at the Supreme Court, we were at your press conference. Dun din in-announce na tatanggalin na yung PNP. Were you worried or concerned for a time that it would really affect your petition?
No, I really wasn't, because when I took a look at the memorandum, it's quite curious actually. If you examine the memorandum, it's not numbered. I don't believe it even has a barcode. And under the administrative code, even the President gives instructions. It should be in the form of either an executive order, administrative order, memorandum circular, memorandum order, proclamation, general order, or special order. And it's not any of those. It's a simple memorandum. That's why we're saying that it can be rescinded anytime.
Sir, so you're making the point that it doesn't have much legal documents to back it up. Parang
it doesn't appear to have the force of law.
Sir, wouldn't you say that that makes it much difficult because parang wala tayong pagbabasehan ng aatakihin na legalidad? Because, as you said, the circular doesn't appear to be a valid or a lawful circular.
There's another thing that is problematic with the circular. It provides that the PIDEA will be the sole agency in the war on drugs. And then it cites Republic Act 9165. But if you look at Republic Act 9165, it doesn't say that the PIDEA can be the sole or only agency. What it says is that PIDEA shall be the lead agency. And of course, there's a big difference between lead agency and sole agency. And in fact, even the PIDEA chief himself admitted that they cannot do it on their own, that they will need the help of the PNP.
Sir, when the President announced it yesterday, the head of the PIDEA, General Aaron Aquino, said that the police must change their guidelines if they want to be back into the war on drugs. Do you see it as a positive, at least that one of the heads are saying this?
Yes, I'm very happy that he made that statement. Because, you know, we are as much against illegal drugs as anybody else in the country. But we just want to make sure that the war on drugs is done the right way, that it's done within the limits of our Constitution and existing law. If you look at the PNP regulations, before Command Memorandum Circular 16/2016 was issued, nandun na lahat. Everything needed for the police to carry out a proper anti-illegal drug campaign was already there. That's why we are so disturbed with Command Memorandum Circular number 16, because we feel that it has actually given the police a blanket license to do what they want, whether it's lawful or not.
Chief Justice Sereno called on General De La Rosa to go to the Supreme Court on November 28. Is it a positive development for the petitioners?
I myself look forward to the next hearing. I'd like to see what will happen. I don't exactly know why the Chief Justice asked them to appear, but I think it's good that they're there so that they can explain personally to the court what this war is all about.
Sir, help the ordinary Filipino understand why is it important that we're going to the Supreme Court and oral arguments like this are being done?
You see, our main concern is that the war on drugs is really supplanting justice from our courts with justice from the barrels of guns. According to our criminal justice system, the possession and use and sale of drugs is a crime. And according to our justice system, if something is a crime, then you bring it to court and you punish the perpetrators. But what is happening is that the people supposedly involved in drug pushing and sale are getting killed on the streets. And it's supposedly because we don't know really if they are involved or not. Under our system, the courts are supposed to be the one to decide if a person is guilty or not. What is happening is that justice is coming from the barrels of guns. It's the people who hold the guns who decide if someone is a criminal or not. And I think that's so dangerous for all of us.
Sir, I'm just going to echo what some of the justices said during the oral arguments. Because, sir, they made a point that you do not want the drug campaign to start. You just simply want to declare unconstitutional the circular. I think it was Justice De Castro who said, why would you want to declare the circular unconstitutional when it has helped arrest drug lords or close up the drug dens? It was what paved the way for those. So why do we want to declare it unconstitutional?
I'm not sure it has helped close those big drug syndicates. What we've seen is that it's really the street-level drug personalities who have been the subject of this anti-illegal drugs campaign. I haven't really seen the dismantling of the organized criminal syndicates that deal in drugs. And really, if you want to stop this whole thing of illegal drugs, you have to start with the organized syndicates. For as long as they are operating in the country, no matter how many street-level people are neutralized, the drugs will still continue.
Sir, the justices also offered possible reliefs like why can't you just file individual complaint, murder complaint against these policemen at the level of the trial courts, or why can't you apply for a writ of habeas data? Why are you attacking the core legality of the war on drugs?
Well, I would rather address the root of the problem than the branches of the problem. The root of the war on drugs really is Command Memorandum Circular 16, 2016. And it's our position that the circular itself violates the Constitution. If we are correct in that argument, then it will address the very core of the war on drugs and I think force the government to revisit how they should do this campaign. Like I said earlier, we are as much against illegal drugs as everybody else, but we just want to make sure that the government does it the right way.
So following up on that, how would you suggest or how would you say that the government continues an efficient or a successful war on drugs without the circular or without the present mechanism with which they are doing it?
By proper gathering of evidence, building up of cases, especially focusing on the organized crime. I think that the police in our country, they know who are involved in drugs. They have enough intelligence information to pinpoint who are the people behind these syndicated activities. And if they could only use all the resources of the state to gather evidence, as has been done in other countries, then I think that they could be very successful in dismantling all this organized crime.
Sir, what is your end goal? Do you want to hold some people accountable, and who, if any?
You know, anytime there are grave violations of human rights, especially of the right to life, there has to be accountability. Otherwise, we would have impunity and it would appear that that is the situation that we have today, where everyone who is responsible for all these thousands of deaths are getting away with it and no one is able to prosecute them. I think that if we really want to make our country better, we have to have accountability.
Sir, will this eventually lead back to the president? Do you have any legal course of action that would tie him back to the Oplan Tokhang and the legal challenge that you pose?
Well, there is always the question of command responsibility, and there is also the question of whether these incidents give rise to a possible prosecution before the International Criminal Court.
Sir, are you considering it? Because I think it was Justice Carpio whose line of questioning last oral argument, he said that the pattern of the killing, does it tantamount to crimes against humanity? At least in your effort or the flag's effort, do you plan to take it to the ICC?
I understand that there is already a complaint filed with the ICC, and I understand that recently the ICC prosecutor herself said that she will be asking for a formal investigation.
Sir, with your petition, are you optimistic? Because track record-wise, the opposition has been losing in the major cases filed before the Supreme Court. We have the martial law, the Lima case, the Marcos burial. Are you optimistic that you will win this one?
And there's always hope, I think. And perhaps it's about time that we won one.
Sir, in the comment filed by Solicitor General Jose Calida, he said that to probe all the cases of Nanlaban, it's just a matter of a fishing expedition. He doesn't want to investigate the cases. How would you respond, sir?
I think that it's about time the government comply with its obligations, both internationally and domestically, to investigate cases of Nanlaban. You see, unlike vigilante or death squad killings where we don't know who committed the killing, when you have a case of Nanlaban, the police officers involved admit that they killed the person in custody. It's just that they claim that their killing was justified. Given that there is already an admission on the part of the law enforcement, the proper thing to do would be to make sure that the killings were in fact legally justified. Unfortunately, we're not seeing that kind of investigation being done.
Sir, as you said, you do not see any genuine investigation. So, sir, paano po kayo nagiging optimistic that you will get somewhere when all these have to go through the government channels who are not of the same opinion as you when it comes to the war on drugs?
Well, our judiciary is supposed to be independent. That's why we have gone to the Supreme Court, hoping that it will intervene.
Sir, another point that Soljan Calida made in his reply is that the petitioners are not entitled to a writ of amparo because their stories are hearsay daw po. What can you say?
I don't know if that refers to our petition or to the other petition filed. In our case, our petitioners were actually those who were, Rowena Apari was present when her son was killed. She witnessed what happened, so I don't think you can say that was hearsay. Jefferson Soriano was the victim himself, so I don't think that you can say that that's hearsay either. The third petitioner, Eileen Almora, was not there when her brother was killed, but we were able to get copies of the police reports. So yung mga facts na nandun ay nanggaling na mismo sa police.
Sir, how was it hard getting the petitioners to sign on to convince them to join the case?
Yes.
How so po?
There are so many people who are afraid to come forward. They want justice, but they're afraid that if their names appear on the petition, then they might get put on the watch list themselves. Their other relatives might be killed. So it's really been a struggle because of the fear that has been engendered by the war on drugs.
Sir, can you please help explain the value of tackling this in the courts? Because for the urban poor communities, they might not feel the effect because baka for them it's just a piece of paper because they feel the real and the real consequences of whatever they file. Bakit po importanteng sa korte natin to dinadala?
If we are granted relief by the court, then it will be felt on the ground. If the court, for example, nullifies or prohibits the implementation of CMC 16 and the DILG circular, then that will be nationwide, and the PNP will have to revisit how it's going to conduct its war on drugs.
Sir, for final question, sir, why are you leading this fight. It's certainly not easy to go against the administration, the president who's enjoying a massive support from the public. Why are you continuing to challenge his campaign?
Because I believe it's right. I think somebody has to do it.
Okay. That was Dean Chel Jokno of the Free Legal Assistance Group, one of the petitioners at the Supreme Court challenging the war on drugs. This is Lian. Thank you for watching Rappler Talk.